Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Bayer Small 76 Field on the campus of Colgate University as we get set to kick off Homecoming Weekend 2015 with some men's soccer action. The Raiders welcome the Falcons of the U.S. Air Force Academy to Hamilton, New York for the first time ever. A non-conference men's soccer matchup, the first of 3 soccer games in as many days right here on Bayer Small 76 Field. You can see all 3 of them right here on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Kenny Kops with you here high above Bayer Small 76 up in the commentary booth, set to bring you all the action. Thanks for spending part of your Friday evening here with us on a gorgeous late summer evening in Hamilton. Game time weather, 75 degrees. It was partly sunny, but the sun is set, so just partly cloudy skies now. Humidity low, 47%. Winds out of the south at 6 miles per hour. We're expecting just as gorgeous weather conditions tomorrow for the homecoming football game. The Raiders look to get to 1-2 on the year, taking on the Bulldogs from Yale University. But we'll get to that tomorrow. Now time for the action down below us. Air Force in the all-white visiting kits with the diagonal sash in blue from the right shoulder down to the left hip. They'll go from left to right for the opening 45 minutes. The Raiders in the all-maroon with the white numbers going from right to left. The Raiders goalkeeper tonight is junior Ricky Brown, all 6 feet and 175 pounds of him from Laguna Hills, California. The Falcons get the whistle from referee Thomas George, and off we go from Bayer Small 76 Field. The Raiders looking to make it 3 wins in a row and 3 wins on the year. Ricky Brown for the Raiders, I mentioned, is their goalkeeper, making his 5th start of the year. He's appeared in he started all 4 previous games. His record of 2-1-1 matches that of the team. .94 goals against average, .789 save percentage, 15 saves through 4 games this year. He's kept 1 clean sheet. That was last time out against Dartmouth. More on that in a little bit. This cross comes into the back post, headed back across face of goal, taken down outside the area, and this is put towards the corner flag by the Raiders defense and out for an Air Force throw early on, about 45 seconds into a goalless opening half. The Air Force goalkeeper today is towering sophomore John Wendt, wearing number 23, 6'4", 175 pounds from Sylvania, Ohio. He's in the gray with what I think are pink or coral numbers with the black shorts. Another throw on the way for Air Force along the near sideline here. The Falcons have played 4 games, won 2 and lost 2. They won their first 2, both in double overtime over Army and against Evansville. They've lost their last 2, 2-1 against Drake and a 0-0 at Cal Poly 1 week ago today. This is Ryan Ward. Got it back to the captain, Ben Kern. His cross comes in, turned right back out by Zach Tommen. Ethan Cutler with his first touch for Colgate. Hopping over the ball was Troy Mupen. Those 2 men linked up for the one and only goal in Hanover, New Hampshire last Friday evening when the Raiders took down Dartmouth by 1-0. Mupen flicks this out wide for Jared Stroud. Back into the area for Mupen. He turns and fires, and just like that, it's a 1-0 Raiders. Troy Mupen right at the start of the game, 1 minute and 49 seconds in. A brilliantly worked counterattack, his 2nd goal of the season, 2nd in as many games. And like they've done in now 4 of their 5 games this season, Colgate strikes first and Colgate strikes early. Stroud was invited forward by the beautiful flick off the outside of Troy Mupen's right boot. Stroud got it back to the Jamaican just inside the Air Force 18-yard box. He had time to turn, pick out a spot at the bottom corner, and did not miss. Even the lengthy 6'4" frame of John Wendt could not keep that one out. The ball pinballing off a pair of heads there. Ben Kern racing forward, try to get it back to him. Tommen intervenes on the cross. It's out for an Air Force throw. Well, I didn't have time to finish talking about the Raiders' win over Dartmouth last Friday. It was an early second-half goal scored by Mupen in the 54th minute. Ricky Brown made half a dozen saves for the team's first shutout of the year, first in its last 8 games dating back to the 2014 season. It was a personal milestone for head coach Eric Ronning, picking up career win number 82 at the helm of the Raiders, moving past John Bayer, yes, the man for whom half of the stadium is named, with his 82nd career victory. And for the Raiders, as a team, it marked their first win over Dartmouth since a man by Harry S. Truman inhabited the Oval Office in Washington, D.C. 1948 was the last time Colgate had beaten Dartmouth prior to 1 week ago today. Air Force is giving away a free kick here deep in the Raiders' half, and it's going to be Benji Geisler over this one eventually, just past the 3-minute mark. An early 1-zip lead for Colgate, courtesy of Troy Mupen. Geisler plays this one long. It was slicing out of play, but Air Force opting to keep it in. Tim Oberg takes this down. Plays it back to Ooligan. Aram Ooligan, first year 6'4" center back for the Raiders, wears number 8. He was involved in one of the weirdest plays you'll ever see on a soccer pitch 2 Sundays ago. It gave the Raiders their first win of the season, a 2-1 win in overtime over UC Riverside, as he scored after what you could call a free kick off the training ground. Fell to him in the area. Initially ruled out for being offside. The referee overruled his assist and gave the Raiders the win. They have not lost since. Timely challenge made by Benji Geisler to put the ball out along the near side. Air Force has done a lot of the attacking early on. The Raiders' only venture forward really was that counterattack that led to the game's only goal so far. This high lob in is headed majestically into the night and out of play along the near side. This is an Air Force team coming off a 500 season a year ago, and they played 18 games, won 7, lost 7, and drew 4. They stumbled down the stretch, going 1-5-1 and missing the WAC conference tournament. But the Falcons trying to answer back, as Tim Oberg forced Gus Jensen to make a play. Back to A.J. Esparza, pressured by Forbes, and Esparza tumbled down but did just enough on the back pass to goalkeeper John Wentz so that the latter could power it back forward. It's come back in the air to Esparza, off the head of Oberg, and out for an Air Force throw. 39:45 left in the first half, approaching sunset in Hamilton here in late September. That one might reach the stands, just missed short as it was knocked out of play by Geisler. The throw-in comes over his head, and Tommen came sprinting over to nod that ball out of play. This cross comes into the near post, and with a slight collision, Ricky Brown grabs it on a couple of friendly hops off the field turf, as attacking it for Air Force was Zach Hill. Brown taking his time, wearing all black, the junior from California. Waved his teammates forward, now releases the ball. Forbes tried to flick it on. Kern with the touch for Air Force. Turning with this, Ward. And Kern could not keep the return ball in, or Ward, I beg your pardon, from Kern along the near side. Colgate has a throw in the person of Geisler. By scoring the first goal tonight, the Raiders have now struck first in each of their 5 games this season. Something of note, as in their 18 games a year ago, Colgate scored the opening goal in just 4 of those. Did go on to win all 4. This year, 2-1-1 so far when scoring first. The one draw, of course, the season opener at Northwestern back in late August, a game where it was level at 1-1 half an hour in. The Raiders played the final 65 minutes or so, a man down, and Colin O'Neill was sent off early in the second half for picking up a second yellow card. This is a good ball, which has invited a sprinting Ben Kern forward. Kern has a go from distance, and Brown sees that one curl harmlessly wide. Well, the first shot of the game for Air Force was a speculative one at that. Made sure that Brown was paying attention, which he was. We mentioned that it's going to be a busy game or a busy weekend of soccer here at Bayer Small. Women's team in action tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 p.m. against the Eagles of American University. So you can head on over here after the football game against Yale at 1. The women opening up Patriot League play already. Their 5th weekend of play this season. It's flying right by. Last year, Colgate defeated the Eagles in D.C. on the final day of the regular season, winning by a 1-0 on a second-half penalty that clinched the Patriot League regular season title. Air Force again on the attack, as they had been for most of the first half. This is a better cross, but good defending by Zach Tommen, as the man for Air Force who wanted to get there, Zach Hill, could not, and Brown easily able to grab it there on a big hop. Brown opting to play it short for Tommen. Ooligan trying to get Ethan Cutler involved. But his first touch was heavy. Ricocheted out into the area occupied by the Air Force substitutes. And now this falls for Cutler. Oberg launches one high over Forbes. Real nice crowd still filtering in here at Bayer Small 76 Field tonight. They've already missed the game's first goal. Troy Mupen at 109 seconds on a counterattack. Finished off a feed from Jared Stroud. Sliding challenge made by Oberg. Won the ball. Pops back up and still has it. Off the chest of Cutler to his right foot. Stroud. Picked out Cutler again. The Air Force defense swarming to him. As he last year, and again so far this year, is the man on offense for the Raiders, involved of all but 2 of their 21 goals scored in 2014. This year, he hasn't scored as many, at least so far. He's only scored 2 himself, but he's also set up 2 others, so he's had a hand in 4 of the 5 Colgate goals on the still young season. Ooligan, with the press coming from Hill, sends this one long, too long in fact for Forbes, and an easy touch for John Wendt. Wendt last year was not the first choice goalkeeper for Air Force. In fact, he had limited duty behind Jake Schenk, but this year he's started and finished all 4 games, 2-2 record, at .93 goals against average, has been forced to make just 9 saves coming into play tonight. It's a .692 save percentage, and he's kept 1 clean sheet on the season. As Scudari was up from right fullback. This is thrown in for Scudari. Tried to bend it around the defense for Geisler. He didn't get there in time, though, as reading it well and intercepting was Ryan Ward. With 3 now make it 4 white shirts in front of him on the attack. Ward tried to flick it past the first man there, Oberg, but Tim read the play well, broke it up, gets it back here from Cutler. Now up the left side, sprinting after this ball is Tyler Forbes. Not going to get there, and after a step over, Cameron Dooley brought it to the near side. Cutler cut that one out. Cutler comes back in on his right boot. Past 1 challenge there from Kern. Still Cutler. This is O'Neill. The midfielder up the left side here. Tries to get to the byline. Tries to cut back inside, taking on 2 defenders. Still O'Neill with the ball. The cross comes in. Taken down by Mupen. Had a swing at it, but missed as the defense cleared it away. Cutler and the Raiders maintain possession, and now it is the Raiders who are asking the questions on the offensive. After doing a lot of defending over the first 10 minutes of the game, the goal on the counterattack, I wouldn't really say it came against the run of play because there hadn't been much of a run of play. The goal coming in the 2nd minute of action. This attack peters out in the end, though, as the lengthy cross ended up, after a big hop off the field turf, in the arms of John Wendt. Tonight's game for Colgate, the first of 2 in 3 days this weekend. They wrap up non-conference play, at least this weekend, with a 2 p.m. kickoff on Sunday against Duquesne. Mupen muscled off the ball there. Good physical battle between Hill and Tommen, and then Hill slid the ball out wide, just too far for Ryan Ward before he could get there. Well, Oberg and O'Neill very nearly gave the ball away. It came on back to Ooligan. Now Tommen steps past 1 man. Still Tommen across the halfway line. Oberg's going to run out of room. At the 13-minute mark, still 1-0 Colgate. I probably say this at the start of every weekend, but very busy weekend for Colgate Athletics starting up tonight. Also in action, in about 15 minutes from now, in fact, the women's volleyball team opening up the Bucknell tournament against the host Bison. 7:30 p.m. First serve in that one. They'll play 2 more games tomorrow. They got the early matchup against Delaware State, 10 a.m. first serve, and then they'll wrap up their weekend slate against the Friars of Providence at 3 o'clock. That cross, blocked by Stroud. Helped on its way where it's chested down by Forbes. Forbes for Cutler. The 2 men leading the Raiders' attack tonight. Ward tries to take it past Geisler. Geisler has to slide down in the end, and it's going to be a free kick for the Raiders. The assistant referees tonight, Steve Adamack and Chris Bornkamp, and referee Thomas George agreeing with the near side assistant, giving that free kick the Raiders' way. The speedy sophomore Mupen, the scorer of the game's only goal, tracks this one down. An overlapping run was being made by Bruno Scudari. The Air Force defense doing well to put that ball out of play. Coming up on a quarter of an hour played at Meyer Small 76 Field. Each team with just 1 shot so far. The Raiders have scored on theirs. Looks like it's going to be a long throw. Indeed it is. That was Ooligan up attacking it, but it ended up going over his head. You know it's a high throw if it gets over him. O'Neill's ball deflected up into the night, taken down by the chest of Jensen. Hustling back was Tom, and he was also up to attack that long throw. The Raiders really treated that throw like a set piece, getting both of the big center backs forward, trying to win a ball in the air. Little flick by Forbes, helped on its way by Oberg. Cutler back to Oberg. Oberg spraying the ball out wide. For Stroud. Trying to get to the byline, and he cuts past a pair of Air Force defenders, goes to the near post, ricocheted off the goalkeeper, and it's going to end up clattering off the shins of Stroud on an errant clearance, and it careened right back into the goalkeeper gloves worn by John Wendt. A dangerous attack built by Colgate that time down the left side of the Air Force defense. But now it's the Falcons trying to counter quickly. This long cross comes in, headed down, and a chance perhaps for Joey Haug. Hooligan had a swing and cleared it, but not very far. Here's a go from distance, and looked like it was going wide as Luke Villamaria took the shot. But Ricky Brown laid out to his right to make sure. Oberg may have gotten a touch. You heard the collision there between Kern and Cutler. The Raiders getting more of the ball over the last 6-7 minutes or so, after it was dominated by Air Force over the game's first 10. Ooligan played it out wide, just barely kept in the field of play. Stroud. Here's Forbes. Looked to turn back. He stumbled down, and after deliberating about it, the referee blows for a free kick. Ethan Cutler heading over to take this one. Be a good angle for him with his right boot to swing this one in. There's an extra ball on the field right now in the Air Force penalty area, but Oberg clears that one out of the way. Just to the left of the G in the script gate along that far side. Cutler from in excess of 30 yards out. It's a whipped in, a low ball, didn't beat the first man, Kern. It's fallen back here for a shot that's blasted out into the windscreen by Benji Geisler. Hooligan up to get a touch on the goal kick from Wendt. Stroud plays this one long. Forbes giving a half-hearted chase as Wendt gets there in the end. And now Forbes trying to make Wendt get rid of it, which he finally does. O'Neill. Nicely done to get past a pair of Falcons and flick it across to Stroud. Cutler dropping deep to get a touch on the ball there. Stroud turned, tried to feed it back to him, found Mupen instead. A clearance from the Air Force back line did not go very far. This one does. Picked out by the Raiders as Scudari stepped in, got a foot in the way. And this ball will be seen behind by A.J. Esparza, goal kick for Air Force. Less than half a minute away from the 20-minute mark of elapsed time in this first half. The second-minute Troy Mupen goal, the only change on the Bayer Small 76 scoreboard so far tonight. Colgate with an early 3-2 edge in shots. Each goalkeeper has made one save. And not a lot of fouls either way. In fact, only 2 have been called, both against the visitors from Colorado Springs. That ball allowed to run by Ward, and getting on the end of this one is Puyats. Before he could get a cross in, though, Geisler poked it out, so it's just a throw for Air Force. Kern. Puyats. O'Neill. While backpedaling, got a good clearance in there. Air Force has to chase it down. Joey Haug brings it down in front of the Colgate substitutes. Gets it back here. Sliding challenge made. It was a good one. It had to be by Jared Stroud. Air Force compelled to drop back once more to its own side of the halfway line. Turning with this Jensen. As a man making an overlapping run didn't go to him. It's picked out Haug just outside the area. And a second defender came as Haug went to ground looking for a free kick that did not come. This is just hastily cleared away over the head of Ethan Cutler and all 10 other outfield players wearing maroon. It's come back to Wendt here, and referee's going to stop the clock at 23:51. And it looks like Colgate's going to make a change in personnel here. The Air Force 11 using this brief break in the action to huddle up. And now they're going to head over to the sideline, take a little water break. It is, of course, a relatively warm evening here in Hamilton. It's still officially summer. Summer conditions trying to hang on for a little bit longer. So after the brief delay, the teams have retaken the field, and John Wendt, the Air Force goalkeeper, has positioned the ball to his liking. He's gotten the referee's whistle, and Wendt resumes the action. This is played long, a majestic header by Hooligan. The announcement of the Raiders change. The first of the game for either team sees Nick Rizzo coming in, replacing Forbes. Good control by Tommen, chest to foot. Oberg, a lot of white around him. Played on there by O'Neill. Mupen left it there for Oberg. A touch was heavy. He got the ball first, and then a lot of the Air Force man. Now it is Cutler. Oh, and a physical challenge there free kick to the Raiders. Oh, I beg your pardon, that was Rizzo, who was all locked up with Cameron Dooley. Referee is going to stop the clock here with 23:13 to play before halftime. And the referee now giving a rather stern talking to the Raiders' Nick Rizzo, the man who just entered the game a few dozen seconds ago. Rizzo probably asking why Air Force's Cameron Dooley was not issued a yellow card there, as he had a couple fistfuls of jersey. Cutler takes the free kick short and quickly. Now it's O'Neal with Ooligan making a run to the back post. Cutler with a header and cleared away from Went by Kern. Lack of communication there, and it's going to be a goal kick in the end. It didn't cost Air Force, as the defense inadvertently kept the play alive for the Raiders for a little bit longer. A backward header by Oberg, and that is heading out over the stadium, back towards the concession area. Hope the food's okay. This will be thrown right back in by Ryan Ward. Played over towards the corner. Good defending by Geisler, not allowing the Falcons to get there, as both Ryan Ward and Zach Hill were looking to get on the end of that ball and send in a dangerous cross. Well, Mupen did well to flick that out off an Air Force player. About the only play he had there is he was stretched out and losing his balance while falling backward. The Raiders gain some ground and have another throw. Ooh, and a collision there as Mupen tried to leave it for Geisler, and Puyats came sprinting in with the boot lofted high. He got the ball first, and then he got a lot of Benji Geisler. The referee and the assistant are going to have a conversation about it. It appeared as though Puyats got the worst of it. Nothing more than a throw for the Raiders. Shove in the back from Cutler, who goes to ground. Nothing given, as Kern won the header after the physicality. This is played back in the area of Ooligan by Stroud. Up the right side, Rizzo. Can't keep it in play. And now Air Force will make its first change of the game, as head coach Doug Hill, a 1983 graduate of the academy in his 9th season as head coach, is going to withdraw Ryan Ward from the action, replaced by Tucker Bone. And off the resulting throw, it's back to Brown via Ooligan. Brown hurried a bit, but it's a good solid clearance from him. Nice header on by Mupen, and a control by Rizzo. Return ball for Mupen. Spinning and turning there, fell to the ground, got back up, and then he stumbled down over the leg of Puyats. Bone turns with this, has Kern out to his right and goes to him. With 5 white shirts forward, it's a poor ball in the end. Touchdown, but right back to Bone. Kern again, an option in this right channel. He gets it once more, sizes up the play, sends it a good cross, headed down, but Ricky Brown has it in the end. And oh, what a chance that was for Zach Hill, who really should have scored. A free header from the 6-yard box, headed straight down into the turf. A soft, friendly bounce off the field turf, and it was really a routine save in the end for Ricky Brown. But a nice build-up play, probably the best attack that Air Force has built all game long, is that ball just wouldn't quite stay in play for the Raiders. As Air Force will now make another change before taking this throw. Austin Guerrero enters the action for the Falcons.
For the Falcons, number 19, Austin Guerrero, replacing Joey Haug.
Guerrero in for Haug. Kern took this one past Mupen. Air Force looks to build from the back once more. Jensen. Guerrero, his first involvement. He gets bulldozed down to the turf by Mupen. Free kick to the Falcons. They try to take it quickly, but a couple yards up ahead from where the foul had occurred, so referee Thomas George called it back. This will allow the Raiders some time to organize themselves defensively. Amazingly, first foul whistled against the Raiders in the 26th minute of play. I think the referee set a really nice tone for this game, letting the players play. Knowing there is a physical element to this game, calling fouls when necessary, and that will end up sailing over the crossbar, over the roof of the net and out of play, as Villa Maria looked like it was a lengthy cross, but had some backspin on it. It just carried all the way harmlessly behind. Goal kick to Ricky Brown. I'm sure you noticed with the camera focused on Brown here, all the tents behind the stadium. And no, the carnival is not in town. It's just we're ready for our homecoming tailgate tomorrow morning prior to the football game against Yale. Each and every year, it seems like our alumni office does an even better job of getting more alums to come back and getting more people to tailgate. At last count, there's 21 tents, plus a 200-pound hog being roasted. I saw the fire earlier, and I think I can smell it a little bit earlier, too. It smells pretty good. All those festivities are going to begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Kickoff between the Raiders and Bulldogs at 1. Plenty of tickets for that game still available. You can get them right at any of the ticket booths outside the stadium starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Geisler taking a free kick here for the Raiders. Cutler went up for it, but it was over his head. Headed away by Jensen. Cutler hustling back to prevent Cameron Dooley springing away on the counter. This is O'Neill. Has Geisler out left. He's found him. Geisler's touch was heavy. Then he stumbled, but speaking of heavy touches, that was a big one there from Kern. Allowed O'Neill to sprint over and knock it up into the second row. Bone given some space to maneuver forward. He takes it. That ball handled by a couple of players, handled by Air Force first. Zach Hill guilty of handball. The free kick sends Ethan Cutler on the run up the right side. Had Oberg in the middle, decides to go back to Stroud. Rizzo, back to Stroud, cross took a deflection! And that's up on the roof of the net. It'll be a corner for the Raiders. The first of the game either way. Another substitution for the Raiders here. Mupen, the goal scorer, checking out. Replaced by first-year player Uwe Omaragbe. Cutler will take this corner. It's going to be an outswinger from the right-footed junior. Seconds shy of the half an hour mark. It's a line drive, a little flick on, another header, and a third header, and the Raiders have struck again. It is 2-0 favoring Colgate. Uwe Omaragbe off the bench into the score sheet. First goal of his collegiate career on his first touch of the game. Nick Rizza will get credit for the assist, along with Aram Uligan. A tic-tac-toe play of headers. Finished off at the near post by Omaragbe. So this is Bone with the Falcons down by a pair. They conceded 4 goals in 4 games all season. They've given up 2 in less than half an hour tonight. And for the Raiders, this is their first multiple goal lead of the season. They've had a draw in 3 one-goal games so far, but they've got the first 2 tonight. And free kick given away. Oh, and then some shenanigans. Stroud with a light push on the back on Ben Kern, but it was enough for him to win the throw uncontested. And then stepping in in defense of his teammate was Tucker Bone. But nothing further coming from those extracurriculars. Free kick on the way for the Falcons, with both Austin Guerrero and Tucker Axhoy around the ball. Referee going to march the two-man Raiders wall back a little bit. The clock continues to run inside of 14 minutes to play before halftime. It's Oberg and O'Neill who comprise the wall. Axhoy goes over it. Guerrero plays it short. Not sure if that was the design, as Cutler was the one who cleared it away. Back ahead. Beyond the reach of Oberg. A little poke on there by Kern. Bone racing after it, and Geisler tried to play it out off him, no luck. It's still Bone. Tommen has to come over, and that one's headed up towards us. Another solid clearance by the junior center back from Washington, D.C. Kern faked the cross, got to the byline, took a deflection. Ricochets off Bone and Tommen. They're all over each other. Oh, and then a meaty challenge from Tucker Bone to wrestle down Oberg. And nothing more than a free kick for the Raiders. Taken by goalkeeper Ricky Brown. Knotted back and to the left by Axhoy. After this is Amaragbe, scorer of the second Raiders goal tonight. That was nearly given away, as Stroud was up and it took a slight deflection off him. Air Force didn't give it back. Sliding challenge made by Jared Stroud, who came sprinting all the way back to rob the ball from Tucker Bone. Oh, Stroud's had an excellent first half tonight, of course, an integral part of that counterattack that scored the first goal. He got the assist on the Mupen tally, and a good defensive play there. The physical tone in this game really picking up. Some more of it there as Tommen stepped in. The boots and the challenges flying in fast and furious right now. Oberg gives this one away, chested down by Puyats. He takes it wide, working against Oberg. Gets to the byline, cross took a deflection, a diving header made, taken back by the Raiders here. Only one man forward is Cutler on the left, so playing it wide to the right. Over for Amaragbe. There was Rizzo. He's gone forward, calling for the ball. He tried to make a run between the center backs, but that was a long way for that pass to travel, and Amaragbe probably wise in the end not to make it. Rizzo, after laying the ball back, went to ground looking for a free kick. Nothing given. This one up the left side. Is the pace in this game picking up? This should be a goal kick. Indeed it is. Double change on the Raiders as we move inside of 11 minutes to play before halftime.
Number 30, Ryan Bellman for Tim Oberg. And number 9, Abdel Sanogo.
A pair of freshmen entering the action for the Raiders. Abdel Sanogo and Ryan Bellevance coming in, replacing Cutler and Oberg respectively. Ooligan swung his left foot at that one, cleared it back across the halfway line. Air Force regrouping, trying to answer back, giving up a goal 1 minute and 49 seconds in, and then 1 second shy of exactly 20 minutes later. Air Force going to make one more change here, as it appears as though Zach Hill heading over to the sideline for the Falcons.
Air Force substitution number 10, Abinadi Semayoa.
Abinadi Semayoa coming in, and he's had an interesting career for Air Force. Prior to this year, as referee gives a free kick, and then nothing more, as one of the Raiders was sent clattering to the turf near the byline. To finish that thought on Air Force's Samayoa. Prior to this year, hadn't played since 2012. He'd spent the previous 2 years in Chile on a Mormon mission. So he's back with the Falcons, and with his appearance tonight, he's been in all 5 games this season with 1 assist to his name. Brown takes the free kick. Sano going after it, could not get a touch on it. Up ahead for Samayoa. Good physical battle. Said that a lot lately. Won by Amaragbe, back for Ooligan, but they cannot team up to keep it in play. This is a lot back into play by Axhoy. Free kick given as looked like Stroud had a Falcon tumble over him. And Air Force will send the big center backs forward here. Looking to get on the end of this ball and strike late in the first half, trying to cleave a 2-goal deficit in half. Senior defender Ben Kern gives a signal, and that free kick headed towards the back post, just took off on him, sailed out of play, and crashed into the fence that separates Bayer Small from the walkway to Andy Kerr. Brown's goal kick ended up in a very congested area, lots of maroon and white in there, and it's poked out of play by the right boot of Troy Puyatz. Stroud thought a couple times to fire it back in, then yields to Benji Geisler. Too far for Sonogo, and it is eventually marshaled out of play by Cameron Dooley. Falcons going to make one more change here prior to Wentz' goal kick, as Axhoy will check out. He's the leading goal scorer this season on the still young season for Air Force, with 2 of the team's 4 goals. So with 6.5 minutes to go in the opening half, Tommen has flicked this out off his head. Air Force throw along the near side. Ben Kern got it back in. Pinballs off some sets of legs. Gets it right back away from Bellavance. And Brown calling off Ooligan. Fields that ball about 10 yards off his line. Brown just allowed to walk this one forward, just bleeding some more of that first half clock, which is ticked inside the final 6 minutes of play. Clearance partially blocked by Sonogo. It's fallen for Guerrero. Unable to turn with that, though, is Jensen. Sonogo flicked it back. Stroud got a touch. Sonogo again, a little back heel. Was led on there, but Air Force has won it back. Kern, who loves to get forward, sidestepping Bellavance there. Coming in for another challenge. Flick past him this time. This is Bone to Kern. He had Jensen on the overlap. Didn't go to him. Bone can't get it off there, but a shot does come from Samayoa. It sails high and wide of the near post. Some decent link-up play that time from Air Force, and if Samayoa had it to do all over again, probably think he should at least test Ricky Brown. Leaping header made by Kern. Outside of the boot flick from Jensen. He's got Guerrero flying up the left side. Sliding challenge made by Stroud, and it was not a good one. Referee will stop the clock. Goes to his pocket. It is yellow. First card of the game comes to Jared Stroud in the 40th minute. Well, he'd made 1 or 2 sliding challenges like that earlier that he won the ball. This time he got none of the ball. Referee waited to see if there was an advantage. There was none. And Stroud can have no complaints about his name being the first in the referee's book this evening. Free kick played short. Kern with some space. His cross comes in. Semyoan up for it and missed it. It's back to Jensen. Guerrero. It's bumped down to the turf by Rizzo. And then free kick to the Raiders. And we're going to get another yellow card, our second in just 17 seconds. Brown will take the resulting free kick for the Raiders. Guerrero, the Falcon, issued the yellow card there. And Brown with a lengthy free kick. It's going to fall here for Omar Agbe. With a couple Falcons all around him, he could not keep it in play. The throw comes in and little bicycle kick out of play. Impressive, but inaccurate that time from Guerrero. And with this ball out of play, the Raiders will use the break in the action to make a change. Nick Lay comes in, the junior from DeWitt, Michigan. Tommins got to hurry. Touch takes him past Bone. Flicked on. Belovins has this one here. Nice ball, but it's too far for Sonogo. Falls back towards Belovins. He'll track it down. The Raiders on the attack looking for a third goal before halftime. Sonogo brings us back out of the corner. Has lost the handle of it. And he comes sliding in, wins the ball, and then had Dooley bundling down to the turf over him. And the referee with an emphatic lecture, still in the ear of Abdel Sonogo, saying something to the effect of, next time you do that, you're going to get a yellow card. Free kick to Air Force, a yard or two to the left of the halfway line here, given away by Nick Lay for being a bit too physical on Gus Jensen. Looks like I applied the infamous broadcaster's jinx when I mentioned the dearth of fouls about 25 minutes in. Of course, the game has picked up in intensity and physicality, and a two-goal deficit in the first half will certainly do that sometimes. Had a couple of bookings in the last minute and a half. Air Force trying to make something happen with 2:25 to play before the horn will sound to signal halftime. Kern bends this ball around the referee. And a free kick to the Raiders as Scudari was back defending, and a little shove in his shoulder sent him sliding on down. It gives the Raiders some time to move forward and relieve the pressure. So we come down the stretch of the opening half. O'Neal has the ball taken away by Jensen. Could be a 4-3 break for Air Force if they work it right. O'Neal hustles back. This is Bone, just outside the area. A cross that was blocked. It's fallen here for Puyatz. And he's won a free kick as he was fouled by Nick Lay. With 6 seconds left before halftime, this will be probably just inside of 30 yards out. Referee's going to move it back another yard or so. A trio of Air Force players over this one. Bones there, as is Kern. With 5 players in the Raiders' wall, the free kick goes up and over the crossbar. Taken by Guerrero. Not a bad effort. Had Ricky Brown jumping, but in the end, a couple yards high. Brown, of course, in no rush to take this free kick. He'll be very happy to see his team take a 2-0 lead into the locker room. Wiping some perspiration off his face. Referee tells him to get on with it, so Ricky does. 10 seconds left. Knotted on by Lay. Turned out there by A.J. Esparza. That'll just about do it with 2 seconds and 1. And that's it for the first half, but what a first half it was for the Raiders. Scoring early and often. Mupen scored first. Amaragbe just before half an hour was off the clock, and that's where we stand with the Raiders up 2-0 over Air Force after 45 minutes. We'll see if they can hang on and make it 3 in a row in the second half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the conclusion in 15 minutes. You're watching Colgate Men's Soccer on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. You're watching Raiders Men's Soccer on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders, with Colgate up 2-0 over the Falcons at the break. The Raiders with a early strike from Troy Mupen at 1:49, and then had to make a scoring change on the second goal. We had initially credited it to Uwe Amaragbe. That was incorrect. It was actually Zach Tommen on the tic-tac-toe play of headers after the Ethan Cutler corner. It was Tommen who turned it in. It is his first career goal and career appearance number 41 for the junior from D.C. So that one goes Tommen from Rizzo and Ooligan. We'll check on the first half box score in a moment as the Raiders get the second half underway. Ethan Cutler first to touch it. The Raiders in the all-maroon attacking from left to right across Bayer Small 76 field. The Falcons in the all-white going from right to left for the final 45 minutes of regulation time. The fans actually turned around and watched a fireworks show at halftime as part of the homecoming weekend festivities. Included a fireworks display that launched off Whitnall Field just after 8 o'clock. So that coincided perfectly with halftime. Of course, the fans watched a bit of a fireworks show in the first half, better known as the Colgate offense, with those 2 nice strikes to take their first multiple goal lead of the season. Each team with 5 first half shots tonight. Ricky Brown with a pair of saves, 1 stop for John Wentz. The Raiders had the only corner, and they cashed in on that. Each team whistled for 5 fouls, a lot of those coming down the stretch of the first half, and each team had a player booked in the 41st minute, 17 seconds apart on separate plays. For the Raiders, it was Jared Stroud, he who also picked up an assist in the Mupen goal. And for Air Force, it was Austin Guerrero. A foul on the Raiders. Early free kick for Air Force. Mupen checking on the fallen Falcon. The referee will halt the game clock with 43:38 remaining. Esparza, the one who was fouled, he's gotten back up after the harsh foul initially. Today's game, of course, part of the CU Inaria Classic, as Colgate and Cornell each host games on Friday and Sunday, and they swap opponents for Sunday. So Cornell and Duquesne playing right now in Ithaca. The Raiders will welcome Duquesne here on Sunday afternoon for a 2 p.m. kickoff that you can see live and in high definition and for free on the Patriot League Network. Air Force has a throw deep in Raider territory. And the cross came in, but it actually crossed the byline while it was in midair, so it ends up being just a goal kick for the Raiders. Colgate looking for its 3rd consecutive win. Did not concede at Dartmouth last Friday in the first 47 minutes. Tonight, they've kept the Falcons out as well. Good header there from Ben Kern. Let's come back in the direction of Cutler. Little back heel flick on. And now it's Cutler. Could be a 2-on-1, but he's overrun the ball. It still comes back to Stroud. Stroud bends it back towards the far post, but Cutler can't get there in time. Oh, a dangerous looking attack, seemingly out of nothing, generated there by the Raiders. Ends up being a goal kick for Air Force. Falcons will travel to Cornell on Sunday for a 1 p.m. kickoff, part of a very long road trip for the Falcons. They opened up the season at home back on August 29th. They won't play in Colorado Springs again until October 11th. That'll be against Incarnate Word in WAC action. Big collision there. Referee gives a free kick as Geisler went in hard, won the header. Also struck. It might have been Zach Hill. Hard to tell who that is down on the far side for Air Force, but once again the referee has frozen the clock, this time at 41:55. During the halftime break, we checked on the Colgate volleyball teams. Match at Bucknell tonight. The Raiders took the opening set over the Bison and had an early 2-0 lead in the second set. Raiders have played a very difficult non-conference schedule this season. As this free kick came in, knotted out by Big Ooligan, and Stroud couldn't turn the corner there on a pair of Falcons. They'll throw it in along the near side. Of course, 2 more games in Lewisburg for the volleyball team tomorrow, 10 a.m. against Delaware State, 3 p.m. against Providence. They're back home next weekend to open up Patriot League play, 6 p.m. on Friday against Army West Point, and then the inaugural volleyball jersey retirement ceremony will take place on Saturday afternoon. That's a 4 o'clock game. You should be in your seats by 3:40, no later than 3:45. The Raiders set to retire the jerseys of 2 outstanding former volleyball student athletes. Raiders defender wiped out here a couple times. Turf Monster making his first involvement of the evening after a very quiet first half. The Raiders clear this one away. Could not be controlled, at least at first, by Nick Rizzo. Turning with this, Puyatz. Back it comes to Ben Kern. O'Neill stepped in and nearly won the ball back, claiming a foul. Referee waves away those claims emphatically. This played ahead by Villa Maria. Gets it back. Tried to get it to Austin Dewing, number 13 for Air Force, who did not play in the first half, but out there to open up the second half. Kern leaves it for Villa Maria. Tries to bend this one wide, did not get enough on it. Short clearance, and Cutler couldn't find it. Came back to Oberg. But right now, Air Force has the Raiders pinned in their own half. Dewing, and the offside flag is up along the near side, and that might have been a good thing for the Raiders, as the Falcons appeared to have something going on that attack. For the first time tonight, Air Force is caught offside just past the 5-minute mark of the second half, the 50-minute mark of the match. Both Colgate goals coming in the first half. The Raiders scoring first now in all 5 games this season. Cutler was hustling after this and poked out a play by the Falcon, who was doing battle with him. In for Oberg, back to Cutler, left it for Stroud. Oberg again. Tight area there, a little back heel. Stroud was covered by 3 different Falcons and eventually lost the ball. Wupen hustling back to slow down the counter, but Air Force has Puyatz racing forward now. Dewing. Nice ball back to Puyatz. It's a back inside, too far for Dewing, and, well, worked out well in the end for the Raiders, as Wupen came back to help out defensively. Gus Jensen allowed that ball to roll past him. I think that he might have been better off trying to take it first time and at least get a shot away. Now it's the Raiders back the other way. Game starting to open up a bit early in the second half. This is wide for Stroud. Gotten to him very nicely. Tries to pull it back inside. Instead goes to the byline. The cross is blocked behind. It'll be a corner. The Raiders first this half, second of the game. The first one worked out all right. Ended with Zach Tommen heading the ball in the back of the net for the second goal of the first half, just shy of the half-an-hour mark. Cutler took the first half corner. He's getting ready to send in this one now for Colgate. It's a good delivery. Tomlin went up for it. Didn't get it cleanly. This might fall for him. He's locked up with Villa Maria. Tomlin poked it free. Rizzo sliding in, but it's cleared out over him. Air Force had to scramble a bit there to get that ball free, and then swing and a miss by Guerrero. Taken down by Dewing between the legs of Mupen. And Mupen will just blast it to the far side. This cross comes into the near post, and Brown had it all the way. Just a quick little counterattack by the Falcons, snuffed out by the goalkeeping gloves worn by Brown. Brown finally forced to get rid of it. Rizzo tries to control. The handoff to Oberg, dispossessed by Puyats. Air Force with 5 men flying forward. Puyats again. Colgate hustling to get 7 men, and now 8 and 9 back behind the ball. Guerrero, the only Air Force player booked so far. Stroud, the only Raider who has seen yellow. With some good defending there. Going in on A.J. Esparza to just prod the ball out. Stroud's clearance, that struck Esparza right in the face, but Falcons still control. Directed back to Esparza. Air Force trying to build something here. The first touch failing Guerrero. He went in hard. Won the ball back as O'Neal once again appealing for a foul that did not come. Now this is Guerrero with options to his right. Takes on the shot himself, but he drags it wide. Well, that was one of the options he had. Probably not the best option. Certainly not in hindsight. Goal kick to the Raiders on what was Air Force's first shot of the second half. The shot clock shows in 6 for each team through exactly 55 minutes of play. Hooligan is up, leaping to nod that ball forward. Raiders can't win the second ball, however. Tommen stepping in, disrupting Samayoa. Still Tommen. Cutler wants to get to this. Oh, and some last-ditch defending by Villa Maria. Cutler was through, and I think he was onside. Villa Maria stopped that from working out for the Raiders. Guerrero with some time. Closed quickly by Stroud. Guerrero goes down. Stroud tumbling down. Played the ball accidentally to Dewing. Trying to get to the byline. Working there hard with Geisler. Not much on the cross. Cleared out by the Raiders. Just a throw for Air Force. Guerrero. Can't beat Hooligan. Headed straight up. Away by one of the Raiders back defending. Poked on by Rizzo. Oberg up ahead. Once again trying to pick out Cutler. This might break for him. He's hustling to get back, and unlucky for Ethan that time as it ricocheted out off his shin guards after the touch by Villa Maria. Villa Maria's throw turned back to him by Dewing. Puyats up ahead. Tommen up to defend. Obergen as well. And Tommen just muscling Jensen off the ball, but he's lost it right back and then wiped out. A burst of speed from Puyats. Pulls up 25 yards out. Lays it wide to the left. Big collision there. Guerrero gets up, plays the ball. Heavy first touch. Uh-oh. Stroud goes in, playing on a yellow card, and nothing given there either way by the referee. The challenge from Rizzo sees that ball clatter into the first row of bleachers. Kern forward, past one man, has the shot, and Brown got a piece, does just enough to turn it behind for a corner. Little something out of nothing there for senior defender Ben Kern. Cut inside and had it go from about 15 yards out. And Brown did well to beat it away. This will be the first corner of the evening for Air Force. Doing there is an option if Guerrero wants to play it short. He does not. In it comes for a little header along by Jensen. Knotted down, looking for Kern behind him for the take back by Stroud. Lob forward for Cutler. Tries to play himself in behind Dooley, but his opposite number, Dooley, back well defending. Did not let Ethan get past him. So it is Esparza. Tommen. Geisler didn't get to this ball. Dewing tries to get past him. Geisler got a leg in. Still Dewing. Plays it across the 6-yard box. And just cleared away. It's gone behind for a corner as Geisler didn't know who was behind him. Did well to intervene on that dangerous cross, flashing across the 6-yard box. Second corner in rapid succession for the visitors. The corner sailed high and nearly over everyone. Another ball comes in, and Brown came out and gets bumped into by a couple of Falcons. And the referee gives a free kick to the Raiders in the end. Brown taking a lot of time before this free kick. Rizzo and Kern went up for the ball in the air. The header won by Kern. Second ball controlled by Danny Ham. Jensen. And that play was read by Geisler. He hammered it out of play. A trio of Colgate substitutes entering the action now as the clock ticks past the hour mark of elapsed time. We hear that Zach Hill has come back in for Air Force. Sanogo, Amaragbe, and Bellavance, the ones coming in for Colgate. That cross has sliced its way onto Tyler's field. Air Force getting ready to make another change in personnel.
Air Force substitution number 21, Tucker Axoy.
And we get confirmation of first half starter Tucker Axoy, the team's leading scorer on the still young season, checking back in as Air Force head coach Doug Hill mixing up his on-field personnel about 16 minutes and change into this second half, with his team still trailing 2-0. Failed to score in their last game when they fell 1-0 at Cal Poly. And a goal in the 26th minute. The difference there. Free kick to the Raiders as Bellavance went flipped over one of the Falcons there who had stumbled after tripping over the ball. Ooligan's free kick is headed on, and Esparza leaves it for Went to come get it. Chested down by Jensen. For the control there by Kern. And it was allowed to roll by Puyats. Came through to Hill. Jensen. Got it back out wide. Puyats hustling over to the corner flag. Back to Kern. First time on the cross. It's a good one. Header straight up. An Air Force man tumbled down. Amaragbe out defending. Wide it came for Guerrero. Couple step overs there. Now Villa Maria sizes up a shot, and it, instead of curling, it sliced on him and ended up sailing well wide of Ricky Brown's far post. This Air Force change sees Gus Jensen coming off. And Tucker Bowen is the man who replaces him. So Kern has been sprinting all night, and he was rampaging forward from his defensive position once more. That ball led ahead by Guerrero, picked off, but given right back to Bone with some space. Played one in between the center backs there, and Brown took every last moment before picking up that ball. That was Axoy who was making a run in behind. The pass had a little too much on it so that he couldn't get there in time. Axoy's leaping header holds the ball in play momentarily. Amaragbe back here for Tommen. Up ahead to Cutler, tries to control. Nice flick to hold that ball in play, but it's taken back now by Dooley. And we've got a man down back here for Air Force. And the referee's going to call this play back and issue a yellow card to Ryan Bellavance, who's turned to walk away from the referee and gives him a yellow card and a lecture. 2 for the price of 1.
The yellow card has been issued to Colgate number 30, Ryan Bellavance. At 25:07 of the second half.
Bellavance becomes the 3rd player overall, 2nd Raider, to see yellow this evening. Kern's throw, in for Puyats, back to Kern. Fake the cross, now makes the cross, it's blocked. Off the throw, it's cleared long in the direction of Cutler. It's right now. The Falcons haven't allowed the ball. The Raiders defending their 2-goal lead. And when they win the ball back inside their own half, they're just trying to play along to Cutler and see what he can do on his own. The Bayer small scoreboard still says 2-0 in favor of the home team. Troy Mupen after 109 seconds. Zach Tommen 12 seconds shy of 30 minutes. Nothing after halftime. Very few shots either way after halftime. Just 1 for the Raiders and 3 for Air Force, giving the Falcons an 8-6 edge in shots so far. They've won the ball back here at midfield, and making the run up the middle was Axoy. Ooligan robbed him of the ball, and he was still going forward. got it head to Sonogo. A couple first-year players there. Sonogo dropping back, and he's conceded a throw there. Thought he had help behind him, but he did not. And that allows the Falcons to advance pretty far forward up the left side here. Bone tries to cut back inside, but some strong defending prevents that. But it's given back to Bone. Tries a spinorama. It works out. Guerrero wants some room to shoot. Can't get past Belevance. The ball clattering back to Ooligan. And he'll just clear his line. Sending Dooley back to pick it up for Air Force. Exactly midway through the second half. Mupen hustling to win the ball back, and Dooley had a fistful of jersey as Mupen went to ground. Nothing given for that. Meanwhile, it's Axhoy playing this ball in, and Air Force has gotten back on the board. The cross from Axhoy deflecting in off the arms of Ricky Brown. It may go down as an own goal. Air Force doesn't care how it enters the score sheet. They've come back within one, and it's a 2-1 game with 22:09 to play. If it is Axhoy's goal, it will be his third of the season. And so it will not be back-to-back clean sheets held by the Raiders. We'll see how they respond after seeing their, what was a comfy 2-goal lead, now sliced in half. Air Force with some new life, as they've been on the attack for most of the second half, but this time it's Guerrero just losing the ball out of play. And the best thing Colgate can do right about now is just get a few minutes of possession, get some time back on the ball, play in Air Force's half. Try to seize some of the momentum back in this game. Off the head of O'Neal, he's battling there with Bone, with help coming from Amaragbe. But Bone wins it in the end. Tries to play this one through. It's read by Brown. And he'll take his time waiting for some of the Falcons to pressure him before he picks it up, which he now does. Brown's ball looking for Cutler. Flicked on. A great header by Ethan, but no one making a run in behind. Allows Wendt to scoop it up easily and start the Falcons back the other way. Too much of the ball shown to Amaragbe. He was tripped up, and he's down in pain. It'll be a throw for the Falcons. The Colgate coaching staff, all three of them up barking at the officials about that last play, and I think they have some justification for doing so. Another physical battle as once again, Amaragbe went clattering down to the turf. This time, Colgate is given the free kick. O'Neal with a dangerous ball with Hill charging forward, but he got it past him. Tom ran into some trouble, able to play it away long, well beyond the reach of Cutler on a big hop, couple hops rather, into the hands of Wendt. Headed back by Tommen, and Brown will take his time. Off the head of Kern, then that of Mupen to the feet of Belevance. He goes crashing down along with Guerrero. A pair of men playing on yellow cards. This one is flicked forward by Scudari after Cutler left it for him. But Scudari was off balance and the ball went flying back to Wendt. The giveaway at midfield. Looking for Cutler. Touch was heavy, but he wins it back. And Cutler's gotten in behind. The angle is tight. He tries to pull it back on his right foot and does. Still Cutler. Back to his left. Back to his right, and he's lost the handle, giving his opposite number Dooley enough time to recover and win it back. And now it is Air Force sprinting back the other way. Some end-to-end stuff here at Bayer Small 76 Field as we start to come down the stretch in tonight's game. What was a 2-goal lead has been cut to 1, an Axhoy's goal a few minutes ago for the Falcons. Dooley got it out wide. The cross comes in low to the near post, and Brown's got it covered up there. Hill was making a run for the Falcons, but the Raiders goalkeeper got there first. Referee gives a free kick to the Raiders here after Geisler had boxed out Hill. Free kicks fall into the feet of Mupen. Score of tonight's first goal, and that nearly made its way through to Cutler. Timely intervention made by Dooley. Sliding challenge made by Belevins, forcing head coach Eric Ronning to hop-skip out of the way. Esparza, Puyats, Kern, Hahn, trying to get it back to Kern. Defended well. The head for Cutler, brought down to the halfway line, needs some help. Cutler stumbled down as Mupen controls. He played it back to Geisler, and up ahead too far for Cutler, and eventually rolling out of play. Quickly thrown back in by Air Force. Colgate trying to see this one through. Looking to make it 3 consecutive wins and improve to 3-1-1 on the season. Man wiped out, and then a hearty challenge made by Tucker Axhoy. You probably thought there should have been a foul given for the initial challenge made by Scudari. There was not. He took it out on Scudari, and Tucker might be a lucky boy not to see yellow for that one. Oh, and actually, it turns out that the ref is called play back, and it'll be a free kick for Air Force for the initial challenge made by Scudari. The free kick is taken by Ben Kern, and Ooligan using the towering 6'4" frame to head it away. Only momentarily. Puyats has it there. Edge of the area. His cross comes into the far post, and Mupen had to turn it behind. He knew there was a man behind him, and he took no chances. Third corner of the game coming up here for Air Force. It's a good delivery, but it ends up in the breadbasket of Brown. As we're about to enter the final quarter hour of regulation time. After Colgate struck twice in the first half, in minutes 2 and 29 or 30. Air Force trying to do the same in the second half with a pair of goals to level the score. Tucker Bone has given away a free kick in the Raiders' half. Ooligan to take. The ball won back by the Falcons. Kern looking for Hahn. Was forced to turn back and hand off to Kern. Puyats. Kern again. Guerrero. And that'll be a Raiders throw. More good defending by Geisler to chip that ball out of play off the heels of Guerrero. A couple personnel changes being made here. We'll remind you of some of the other Raiders sports action going on this weekend. The field hockey team's on the road. A couple games in Massachusetts this weekend, opening up Patriot League play tomorrow against Holy Cross. 1 o'clock start time in Worcester tomorrow. And then on Sunday, they'll travel to Cambridge, take on the Harvard Crimson. The game will also begin at 1. The Raiders back home on Tyler's Field next Saturday and Sunday. Stroud sees that ricochet on back. Poked forward by Scudari. Controlled again by Air Force. Esparza lobs one ahead. As stumbling a bit was Axhoy, and it was directed out of play by Scudari. Axhoy. Guerrero. Puyats with a bit of time and space. Still Puyats. Got it over to Kern. He has a go! Oh, it's a great strike from Kern. Air Force has done it. They've turned around a 2-0 scoreline. We're level at 2 with 12:37 to play. For Kern, his first goal of the season. What a strike it was, right from the edge of the Raiders' penalty area.
Air Force goal scored by number 4, Ben Kern. With an assist to Trey Puyat. There's 12:37 remaining in the second half.
So Puyats gets the assist on the Kern goal. Air Force scoring 2 goals in about 9.5 minutes. The first one was fluky. The second one was no cheapie. They all count the same. Mupen wiping out after hurrying went. Rizzo tried the back heel, broken up by Villa Maria. And so it's a brand new game with a little more than a dozen minutes to play. How does Colgate respond? Had their first 2-goal lead of the season. They gave it away here in the second half. A strong response after the ensuing kickoff. It came back to Ooligan, who just powered it forward. Guerrero with time. He hooks it the other way. For the header down by O'Neill. The turn by Oberg. He has a go from distance, and it was curling back towards the near post. Caught easily in the end by Went. Puyat's the man who assisted on Kern's equalizing goal back in the 77th minute. Now Kern, the man who scored that goal. Played it forward. Jensen inside. First touch was heavy. Sends in a cross. Headed back across the face of goal. Tommen has to head it. Jensen up to attack, and his header's going well wide. Brown's goal kick and the header by Oberg. Cutler had it briefly. Tommen's got a beat on this. Couple men stumbling to the turf there. Good challenge made by O'Neill, but he wipes out as well. The turf monster felling all the men in maroon right now. About that home field advantage. This is Villa Maria. Jensen got past one man. Guerrero, still Guerrero. He stumbled a bit. Referee had a good look at it. Does not award a penalty, rightly so. Not much there, really. And the Raiders survive that scramble. But Air Force still in possession. Kern swings this ball in for a header back across the 6-yard box, and some strong defending by Zach Tommen, not allowing Hill to get behind him, giving Brown ample time to collect the ball up off the turf. Cutler sees this fall to him. Gets past a couple. That one, a friendly deflection, and Cutler just overran it. Gets it back. He goes down, and the referee waves away. Any Raider appeals for a penalty. Well, we've had shouts for one at both ends in the last minute. End-to-end stuff again here at Bayer Small 76 Field. Guerrero on this Air Force counter. He's inviting Jensen forward. With the man out wide, he goes to him. The cross comes in, and it's cleared away by Ooligan. Hacked further along, and it was missed, or maybe struck the shoulder of Puyat's there. Brown off his line to collect off the turf as Guerrero is chasing for Air Force. I think it's safe to say we're in for a rather exciting finish here at Bayer Small 76 Field, whether we get a result in the next 8.5 minutes or if it requires an additional time tonight. Both teams have played a pair of overtime games this season already. Free kick to the Falcons. Taken quickly. Guerrero looked to turn, no one was there. The clearance up ahead, chested down for Puyats by Esparza. Villamaria. This is Axoy. Takes it wide. And in the end, he's well defended by Scudari. Mupen sent this one ahead, but Rizzo can't hang on. And sweeping in to make a timely challenge, and clearance was Bellavance. Taken back here by Dooley. Kern. Here's Puyats. Esparza. Puyats up the left side. Into the middle with time to turn. Guerrero. Hahn was making a run, and maybe he and Zach Hill weren't on the same page as to who wanted it. As Hahn's touch very heavy, and was easy for Brown to gather. Cutler leaps, couldn't get it. O'Neal was pursuing it. A flick forward by Jensen. Guerrero tried to turn his way past Mupen. He'd beaten his man, but forgot to bring the ball with him. Geisler. Oberg. Has O'Neal making a run up the right side. Tries to pick him out. It falls instead for Villamaria. Plays it back for his goalkeeper. Wasn't expecting it. Thought that the other center back, Esparza, was going to get there. And Mupen tries to control. He dances his way past Villamaria a couple times. Villamaria's taken him down. Referee gives a free kick. And nothing more. Just inside 6 minutes to play. Ethan Cutler will surely be the one who swings this ball inside the Air Force penalty area, hoping for a good deliverance and try to meet the head of one of the big center backs there, and Tommen or Ooligan. We're going to stop the clock here with some pre-free kick shenanigans. 5:24 remaining in the second half. Ooligan in there for the Raiders. Air Force's one of Air Force's co-captains, Ben Kern, stepping in to just join the conversation. But now that party's broken up. Cutler's free kick. It's a good one, and the Raiders have gone back in front. Ooligan let it go. It bounced, and it was hammered into the far corner by Nick Rizzo. Colgate 3, Air Force 2 with 5:20 remaining. For Rizzo, his first of the season. We'll give Ethan Cutler an assist. We don't think Ooligan touched it. And now the Raiders with new life and another chance to see this one through. They blew a 2-goal lead, but get the lead back with just 5:20 remaining. Can they hold on for a second time? But Air Force right back on the attack. Belevins did well to just clear his line. Cutler has a swing at it. Cutler wins it back. He's 1 against 2 back the other way. For him, that's about a 50-50 chance of winning that battle. Cutler, though, waits and played it back to Scudari. Raiders just need to have a little spell of possession. This one lobbed ahead and knotted down by Rizzo, scorer of the go-ahead goal. Oberg sliding in, able to play it forward. And the referee's given a free kick to Air Force. Not for the sliding challenge, but for a shove before that made by Oberg. Meanwhile, Austin Dewing has re-entered the action for the Air Force Falcons, who see themselves behind for the second time tonight. A clearance ahead for Cutler. Given back to him by Rizzo. Popped up in the air for a chance to Scudari to run. And Bruno's going to get there, waiting for help inside the area. Tangling there with Axoy along the byline. Scudari does well to hang on to possession. 2 against 1, though, and Air Force comes away with the ball. Mupen up as well. Cutler steps in. He's won it back. Cutler. Oberg sizes up a shot, but it crashes into the windscreen. Goal kick taken quickly and short to the right by Wendt. Villa Maria. And this Air Force team, which hasn't scored three goals in the game all season, has to score 3 this half just to force overtime. Throw in from Villa Maria. Around the referee, Hill gets to this first as Oberg was closing him down. With 3 minutes remaining, Kern's cross comes in. A couple of short hops into the chest of Ricky Brown.
Don't scare me like that, Ricky.
Well, Brown smashed this over everyone and was knotted back to Wendt, who returns it to sender there, and Cameron Dooley. Air Force will try to venture forward once more with time running out on its second comeback bid. Nick Rizzo didn't give them much time by scoring that go-ahead goal in the 85th minute. Now in the 88th minute, and the Raiders have won possession back, and Troy Mupen turns on the jet, stumbled a bit, regains his balance, referee playing advantage. Mupen back 1 against 5. Still Mupen, shot was blocked. Puyats comes back to get it. Jensen there, dance past Cutler, gave the ball away. Rizzo turned on the afterburners to hold that in play for the Raiders. Scudari, that one is turned out of play by the head of Axoy. It'll be a throw for the Raiders. Scudari will be as deliberate as humanly possible. With 90 seconds remaining. Scudari's throw, looking for Cutler. That's brilliant! Cutler in behind! 1 against 4 inside the area. He'll take it to the corner flag. Now 1 against 2. He gets crashed down to the turf, and it will be a free kick to the Raiders. Excellent work by Ethan Cutler. As we go into the final minute of the 90. Colgate that close to holding on to this one. Cutler plays it short to Mupen. They try to hold it there in the corner, but Axoy's won it back. He'll blast upfield. Scudari takes it down. Scudari slides in. Fair challenge there. Mupen has help with Cutler. Mupen takes it himself, and he is seen out of play. It's an Air Force throw with half a minute to play. Mupen gets in the way of the throw, and he might get a silly yellow card for that. He might be a lucky boy. That's significant as Air Force. Oh, boy, there's a miscommunication among the back four, and that might just about seal it. It'll be a Colgate throw here as we go into the final quarter of an hour. Mupen to fire it in. The countdown to the final 10. It's a high arcing lob that Cutler can't get to. Air Force is going to run out of time. And for the Raiders, it was never in doubt. Up 2-0 at halftime. They gave it back in the second half, but Nick Rizzo, with 5:20 remaining, smashing home with authority in Ethan Cutler corner, gives the Raiders their highest scoring performance of the season. They've won 3 in a row and improved to 3-1-1 on the year. Air Force has now dropped 3 straight and falls to 2-3 on the season. For the Raiders, the goal scorers today, Troy Mupen early, very early in fact, Colgate's quickest goal this season after just a minute 49 seconds on a counterattack from Jared Stroud. Mupen second of the season, second in as many games. Later on, it was Zach Tommen giving the Raiders a 2-0 advantage in the 30th minute from Rizzo and Uligan off a corner. Air Force got him back in the second half. It was Axhoy with a fluky goal that deflected in off Ricky Brown, his third of the year in the 68th minute. About 9.5 minutes later, it was the defender, Ben Kern, with a blistering shot from the edge of the area to level the score at 2-2 on an assist from Puyats there. But the Raiders responded well, I would say, after Air Force tied it up at 2. And Rizzo getting the game winner with his first of the year with 5:20 remaining. Colgate will have a chance to make it 4 in a row on Sunday afternoon to take on the Duquesne Dukes right here on Bayer Small 76 Field. Be sure to tune in to the Patriot League Network tomorrow for some women's soccer action. The Raiders open up their conference slate against the American University Eagles at 4:30 p.m. Colgate trying to defend its Patriot League regular season crown from a year ago. So that's going to wrap up our coverage of tonight's game. Once again, your final score, Colgate 3, Air Force 2. We thank you for watching this time and hope you join us again next time. For everyone here from Bayer Small 76 Field who helped bring this game to you, this is Kenny Kopp saying so long and good night, and thanks for watching.